A few years ago, the best means available for reaching a forest fire in roadless backcountry was by man on foot. Weary from miles of cross-country travel, the smoke chaser had the back-breaking job of putting out the fire after he got there. Although horse-drawn transportation to the backcountry was replaced by the faster motor vehicle over new forest roads, it provided speedier travel only to certain destinations. And at the end of the road, the firefighter still had to take to the brush for the final stage of his journey. In fighting forest fires, time is precious. Even the fastest combination of vehicle, horse, and foot travel permitted small fires to gain momentum and become conflagrations before they could be reached and controlled. Then in 1940 came the Smokejumpers. Now the firefighter has a chance in his race against time to corral the fast-moving fire demon. Started as an experiment a few years ago, the project has sustained a steady growth along with perfected techniques, followed by increasingly satisfactory results. Now it is regarded as an important and highly effective means of getting action in the backcountry of 3 Forest Service regions. It requires a lot of know-how and physical stamina to be a smoke jumper. On actual training jumps, the instructor is with the beginner through the use of a directional public address system and is able to instruct the jumper while in the air. The trainee must be conditioned for jumps into rugged timbered wilderness to put out fires and then hike out 20 or 30 miles. He must be trained to maneuver his parachute to suitable landing spots. After applicants have been screened according to certain mental and physical standards, they attend classes at a training camp. This is the period for indoctrination, and the training curriculum, safety codes, and standards are explained. There are lectures on theory and the history of parachuting with demonstrations of the type of parachutes used. The instructor describes a standard 28-foot flat-type parachute canopy, so called because the silk or nylon forms a 28-foot circle. The 7-foot openings in the canopy are steering slots, and air jetting from them gives the chute forward motion. The jumper can control the direction of airflow by pulling the guide lines, thereby maneuvering the canopy in any direction. Usually in groups of 10, headed by a squad in seamless sacks. Each is responsible for his outfit. Let's examine these items. First, the abdominal support. It covers and protects the lower abdomen, provides the necessary support during the opening shock of the parachute. It is made and low in front. Next comes the coat, padded at elbows and shoulders and made of durable canvas. The high, stiff collar provides protection against snags and limbs in tree landings. The pants are pulled on like an ordinary pair of overalls, and the heavy elastic suspenders are adjusted to the individual. Cut high at the waist, the pants provide plenty of protection to the body in rough landings. Designed for fast removal, the point of release is conveniently located on the center fly strip. Note that plenty of felt padding is stitched at the knees, at the seat, and down along the inside of the pants. These are considered the points of contact in rough landings. The protective webbing is another important safety feature. Giving ample protection at the crotch, the heavy webbing runs from the outside of each ankle and up the inner part of the legs. This webbing can be adjusted by the buckles at the ankles to provide perfect fit to the individual. This demonstration gives an idea of the effectiveness of the strap for jumpers landing astride tree limbs and other obstacles. The large pocket on the right trouser leg carries the let-down rope, carefully arranged in a fireman's bird nest coil to prevent snarling in the tree letdown. This pocket also carries two 12-foot yellow streamers used for signaling from the ground to the airplane. They are an essential part of the Smokejumper's equipment. Actual tests have shown that yellow can be seen more plainly from the air than any other color. A strong cord is now used to enclose the pocket to keep the contents from falling out while the jumper is in the air or landing. This long cord end within easy reach readily unties the slip knot. Next comes the harness. It is a single point release type adapted to smoke jumping. The strong construction and simplicity of design meets the many requirements associated with the smoke jumper's work. Adjustments are necessary to each individual to provide a snug fitting harness, but at the same time give freedom of action for the arms and body. The heavy webbing and hardware of the harness have a high safety factor and are designed to distribute the opening shock over the jumper's body and provide a comfortable swing. These snaps at the shoulders are for attaching the backpack parachute risers. And in front, these snaps are for the risers of the emergency pack. Lower down, the black smaller ones support the weight of the emergency chute. The disc on the single point release mechanism may be turned, but it remains locked until the safety clip is removed. Now strike the disc and the release connections fall apart. It's fast, yet safe. But remember, the clip must be removed before the assembly can be unlocked. Obviously, practice sessions are necessary. We are now ready to attach the main backpack parachute. This adjustable belly band is passed under the harness member like this and buckled tightly in front. The end of the strap is turned back through the buckle for fast removal. After risers are fastened to harness snaps, a bent key is inserted through a hole in the tongue of the snap. Now the snaps cannot open accidentally. As previously pointed out, the emergency chest pack is first fastened to the lower snaps. These support the weight of the pack only. The risers or lift webs of the emergency chute are attached to the larger snaps above. On top of the emergency chute is a knife, easily accessible to either hand should it be needed to cut entangled parachute lines. Both parachutes are now on. Before climbing into the airplane, the end of the static line from the backpack is passed over the shoulder to where it is easily accessible to the jumper for snapping onto the static line cable in the airplane. The static line eliminates the use of the manually operated ripcord. To illustrate, let's assume that we are snapping the static line to the cable in the airplane. The man jumps, and the thread that laces the cover to the backpack tray is broken by the tension of the static line. All thread connections are broken immediately. The tension on the static line pulls the cover off the backpack assembly. As the jumper falls away from the airplane, the canopy, which is tied to the cover with a brake cord, is pulled out. However, this cord does not break until the lines, as well as the canopy, are completely strung out. The lines are held securely in place on the tray by retainer loops, which prevent any possible chance of their becoming entangled. The temporary tacking between risers and tray are broken when the canopy opens. The brake cord snaps after the chute becomes fully strung out with the weight of the jumper, leaving the canopy cover and static line with the airplane. Should anything go wrong, the jumper has the emergency chute in reserve, which can be manually operated with either hand. Another type of parachute is worn by the spotter or jump master. It is commonly called the spotter's backpack. In putting this parachute on, the shoulder straps and risers are grasped from the inside like this, then swung around onto the back. After the chest snap is fastened, lean over and slide the seat sling into place. and then fasten the leg snaps. This parachute, which is light, flexible, and comfortable to wear, is for emergency use only. When making a jump, clear the ship, grasp the ripcord handle, and pull. This is a 24-foot seat pack usually worn by pilots or non-active personnel accompanying the jumpers. It is put on in the same manner as the spotter's backpack. It provides a seat cushion and is manually operated. Now let's go back to the dressing up. For the protection of head and face, a regulation football helmet is used with a mask attached. The mask covering the face is of welded steel mesh, hinged at the top. 2 leather straps fasten into buckles on either side, holding the mask tightly and securely over the jumper's face. A sponge rubber pad attached to the inside of the mask fits over the chin. This assures plenty of protection against head or face injury due to rough landing. Soft, close-fitting gloves are worn by the jumper to prevent hand burns caused by lines slipping through the hands while maneuvering the parachute. Also, good foot protection is needed while jumping and working on fires. These are logger-type boots with composition soles. Caulked soles are likely to cause ankle injuries on landing and are never worn. And so ends the dressing up, and we have a smart-looking outfit. Every item is inspected before the man jumps. Special attention is given to the ripcord assembly on the emergency chute and the backpack cover lacings and harness fitting. Yet all this can be accomplished with care and accuracy in a few seconds. Firefighting, the principal job of the smoke jumpers, requires that good, sharp tools be always ready. Fire packs, which are numbered and assigned to the men, include only the most essential equipment for work and for subsistence. A canteen and a canvas case containing notebook, map, and compass are tied on the outside of the pack, readily available to the jumper on landing. All items in the pack are inspected and checked before being issued to the jumper. Here is a canvas 2-gallon water bag and the important lightweight, short-handled fire shovel. A heavy-duty flashlight for night work and for night travel. And operations to last each man at least 2 days, which meets most requirements on small fires. In this compact package are cooking utensils and dishes for emergency use. A first aid kit with essential medicine. And last, of equal importance with a shovel, is the dual-purpose Pulaski fire tool for cutting and grubbing. It is found in every fireman's pack. Fire packs are dropped in pairs, hooked together by rings and snaps. This combination will support the most delicate cargo for dropping, as sleeping bags in a sack are used under the packs to absorb the landing shock. A 2-way contact radio weighing 22 pounds may be dropped in this manner by placing it on top of the sleeping bag in a seamless sack and secured between the 2 fire packs. This sensitive equipment invariably lands in good condition and ready for use. A large chute, usually a 24 or 28-foot silk or nylon canopy, is used for dropping this important cargo. It is operated by a static line and fastened to the load with webbing slings. After the load lands, the lines are taken up, and the chute container, which goes down with the load, is made larger by pulling out this false top. This provides ample storage for the canopy and lines until time for repacking. For retrieving chutes hung up in trees, this pruning saw comes in mighty handy. The teeth are set to cut only on the pull stroke. A cross-cut saw can be dropped with a load in this manner and is included when warranted by conditions on the fire. A smaller 14-foot canopy which will carry up to 70 pounds, may be used for ordinary fire tools not easily damaged in landing. This cargo chute, also operated by static line, is called the flare chute. The assembly is light in weight and compact in size. A spare cross-cut saw, protected by boards, is always carried in the airplane. If requested by signal from the jumpers on the ground, it can be dropped in a free fall and located by the long yellow streamers. When dropping on rocky terrain, this small 3-foot muslin chute is used to slow down the rate of descent. Tree climbers with a streamer attached are dropped free fall when needed to remove cargoes or canopies from trees. Covered by rubber shields, the spurs are protected against damage in landing. This is a 5-gallon canvas water bag with shoulder straps, designed to be worn like a backpack. The pump with hose attachment works with the bag and is used for cooling hot spots and for mop-up work. For greater safety and efficiency, the Smokejumper's equipment is undergoing constant study, experimentation, and change. The firefighter might never make a water landing, but just in case of such emergency, experiments were made to provide adequate equipment to keep the man afloat and to adopt training procedures to rid the jumper of heavy gear while in the water, enabling him to reach land in safety. Other experiments are in progress aimed at safeguarding the jumpers against special hazards and making their work more effective. While such experiments are progressing, fires must be as quickly as possible in the most remote regions by trained firefighters. The airplane and the parachute are means of faster transportation, not only for the firefighter, but also for supplies and equipment to fire camps. The airborne firefighter is a reflection of modern progress in transportation, but this method is merely a means to an end. After all, the important job is to put out the fire.